Now this book, oh, good idea, Teresa. Don't blame you. This book is confused you all, which I love, because there's nothing in it but patterned paper and cardboard, cardstock, which you know, is quite unusual, really. So what I want to do today is I want to make the base of the book. So I want to make the front and back cover and this gatefoldy bit here, and I want to make the internal pages, and I want to make the hinge and this spine here, but we won't be putting it together as such. Tracy, I think I might have a couple in stock. I've really got to do a stock take, because I keep finding stuff that isn't on the website, and I found some big boners the other day. So it is on my list of things to do. I really need to do it urgently, but things have just kind of got away with me these last couple of weeks because there's been so many kits to go out. I'm nearly there, nearly there. So hopefully as soon as that's all done, I'll be able to concentrate on that. Evening, Anne. Hi, Sam. Hi, Jill. So, yes, possibly. Hello, Luann. Oh, whereabouts are you? Whereabouts in the States? So, yeah, where was I? Oh, yeah, this is the book. The book that we're going to make is ever so slightly different because I've made the hinges a little bit bigger because I just didn't feel it worked terribly well. So we're not going to do anything with pattern paper tonight. We're just going to make the basics. So that's what I want to get on and do. When we come to put this book together, and I'll explain how we're going to do it and why, we're going to do it backwards. Ah, I know where that is, Luann. Well, I know where New York is, which is a miracle because geography is not my strong point, but I do know where New York is. So you're quite near to us in terms of the pond. Oh, good evening, Marianne. I love Berlin. It's one of my favourite cities. If Bianca turns up, hi Mary. We often have little chats about Berlin. I lived in Germany for 3 years, over the other side, not Berlin, nearer the border with Holland. But I did visit Berlin, and I have to tell you, I think it is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It is so clean, and the streets are so wide, and oh yeah, I love Berlin. Absolutely love it. Yeah, so, oh, sorry, I digress. Was doing a little bit of travelling in my head then. So yeah, we're going to make this book completely the wrong way round, and that is because it's the easiest way to make this spine work. So what we're going to do tonight, like I said, is just make the basics, and then next week what I want to start doing is start the decorating. And we've got things like this little flippy thing. That's going to be a job for next week. But what we're going to do is cut out the basics, and then we're going to start putting our book together, working with the back page forwards as we go through the next 3 weeks. I'm not sure how long it's going to take us, maybe 4 weeks, 4 or 5. I usually underestimate these things. So even though we're going to cut out and do some gluing tonight, I don't want you to lose your bits. So find yourself a bag to pop them in, okay? So, right, what we're going to do, there is a cutting guide in the group. It's more for a guide than anything else. I know there's a couple of new people who haven't done a class with me before. So what I'll explain is that I work in real time, and I know I'm quick. I've taken that on board. I'm going to try and slow down a bit. So we're going to do everything together. So I'm going to cut out with you. I'm going to score with you. I'm going to fold with you. I'm going to glue with you. I might set you homework, but I'll tell you if I set you homework. But as I'm cutting and telling you sizes, Mark will write sizes and such like in the chat as well. So you've got it 3 ways. You've got me speaking it, you've got Mark writing it in the chat, and then you've got the printout on the page as well. So that's kind of how it works. If I use stuff, because we have our own craft supply store, the Scrap Lab, if there's something that I stock, Mark will link you into that in the chat as well, if I've got it in stock. because I do seem to run out of things, and I'm not the best organised person in the world, really. There we go. Right, so let's get going. What you're going to need tonight is you're going to need your cardstock. You are going to need your trimmer. You are going to need your scoreboard, some glue, wet glue, I prefer, and your bone folder. So let's get started. Now, we could do this, cut it all in one go, but we're not going to. We're going to do it bit by bit and build it up. So the first bit that I want to make is I want to make the back cover, which is this bit. Ignore the pocket. We'll do that next week. So I want to make the back cover. In fact, it would probably be easier if I showed you this way around. I want to make the back cover. I want to make the sort of the spiny bit on that end, and I want to make this bit that folds round. So that's what we're going to do first of all. So no decorating this week, and actually miraculously there won't be any homework for you this week. That's not to say that there won't be in the future though. So right, let's get this party started. Okay, so I had card, no idea where I put it. Ah, here we go.
Hi to Sally and Anne.
Hey Sally Ann, oh this is lovely. Hi Anne. Anne, you're all right? I haven't started. I've been rabbiting on about absolutely nothing. Okay, so we're going to start with what we're going to cut is we're going to cut the back cover, we're going to cut the gatefold, and we're going to cut one spine at this point. Okay, so first of all, I want you to cut one at 10 by 7¼ inches. Now we will be cutting this down again, but for now just cut it at this size, and I'll explain why we're going to cut it down again in a bit. So that's going to be 10 by 7¼ inches, which is, funnily enough, the exact size of the book. Okay, now I've got some offcuts here. Probably these I would throw away because they're not very big, but on the whole, if this is your first book with me, what I will say is I tell you to keep everything until we're done, because you never know what might come in useful for things like inserts and photo mats and all sorts of things. So don't chuck stuff away. So now I need you to cut one at 10 by 8¼ inches. Now, if you are in the UK and you are using a piece of A4 card, bizarrely, it's 8¼ inches across. So if you're using A4 card, you're just going to cut it at 10 inches length. Okay. If you're not, you're cutting a piece that is 8¼ by 10 inches. Evening, Kirsten. Right, now I want to cut the gatefold. So we're going to cut one at 7¼ by 5. Okay, and then we're going to cut one at 5½ by 8¼ . Which, like I said, is the width of a piece of A4. Okay?
What was that last one, did you say?
5½ by 8¼ . So if you cut that well, you should get that out of one piece of A4. David, you're not late. It's fashionable to make an entrance, let's say. I've hardly started. I've only cut a little bit out. Evening, Celia. Oh, good. Glad it arrived. I haven't posted your other stuff yet. I'll do that tomorrow. Right, I just want to cut out one of the spines, which I want to cut at 5 by 7¼ inches.
That's 2 of those, isn't it?
There are 2 of those, but at the moment we're just going to cut one. because I want to make this up before we go any further. So put that to one side, your trimmer. And what we're going to do now is just put that back bit together. So you need your scoreboard. Oh, I just dropped my... Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So this first bit that is 10 by 7 1/4, you can put that to one side. That doesn't need any scoring at all. But the next piece, which is 10 by 8 1/4, we're going to score on the 8 1/4 inch side, which means how many sheets of pattern paper? Well, that's a good question, Miranda. I used, hold on. The paper that I used in my original was Craftsmith Green Witch, but in class I'm going to use this Craftsmith Fall Orchard, which was another option for the kit. Now, in America, I think this is, I know you're not in America, by the way. I just want to make that clear because I know that's the wrong thing to say, but I'm just saying in America. It's called Michael's. It's from Michael's and it's Recollections, and it's 48 sheets of 12 by 12. Now, I used a fair bit of it. It used more than I thought, but less than a whole pack, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I didn't use any of those big, well, I'm trying to think how much I used in the end. There's quite a bit, but not huge amounts. There's 5 pages to the book. Probably about somewhere between 1/2 and 3/4, I would say, possibly. I have to ask if you've got any Jimmy Choos now, David. Right. Oh, Over the Hedge would work perfectly, Miranda, because that's 48 sheets as well, isn't it? Absolutely perfect. Great choice. Yep, definitely, definitely. Right, so we're going to score on the 8 1/4 inch side. And for those of you who are new to this, when I say if we're scoring on the 8 1/4 inch side, what that means is that I've put the 8 1/4 inch side at the top of my scoreboard so that I'm going to be scoring downwards towards me, okay? So I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to score at 7 3/4 inch. So what I've got here is a piece of card with 2 parallel score lines, okay? Oh, nice choice, Elaine. I love that gilded berry. That is so pretty. Oh. It's not, which are the ones with the red bottoms? They're Louboutins, aren't they? I haven't got any of those. I don't wear heels these days. I fall over. Right, okay, so we're going to do a little bit more scoring. We've got this piece from our gatefold, which was 5 by 7 1/4. We're putting that to one side because we don't want to score that. But the other one, which was 5 1/2 by 8 1/4. First of all, if we score on the 5 1/2 inch side, so 5 1/2 inches at the top, I want to score at 1/2 inch. I'm going to scoot that round 90 degrees. So I'm now looking at the 8 1/4 inch side here. And I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to score at 7 3/4 inch. So this is like as if we were doing a big pocket. So what I've got is I've got my piece of card now, which has 3 score marks in a U shape with 2 intersecting corners there. Oh, is anybody else having trouble with Facebook, or just...
Yes.
Is it being silly? Oh, you are? Mind you, you've had problems for a while.
It's working on my phone, but not on my PC.
Oh, well, that's a bit weird.
The chat's not updating.
It is on mine. Maybe I'm taking all the bandwidth. No,
that's not
I know it doesn't work. This is why I have you doing this stuff, dear. Kirsten, no, it's not too thin. I think that would be just fine, but I certainly wouldn't go any thinner.
What piece of card was that you just go 5.5.
We've just scored the 5.5 by 8.25 inch side. We've scored on the 5.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and on the 8.25 inch side at
1/2 inch.
yeah, and 7.75 inch. Teresa at St Anthony. Ruth, there is a cutting and scoring guide on the page. That might help. So now we're going to score that spiny bit, and we are going to score on the 5-inch side, which means that we've got the 5 inches at the top, and we're going to score at 1 inch. We're going to score at 1.5 inches, 2 inches, 2.5 inches. Oh, sorry, I'm going too fast. Well, basically what we're doing is we're scoring every 1/2 inch. 3 inches, 3.5 inches. I have a feeling I've done this too big. And 4 inches. Oh no, that's right. So what we've got is we've got 1 inch at either side, and then we've got 1/2 inch increments along here. This is because I changed it because it was too tight in my opinion before. Okay. So you can put your scoreboard to one side.
What piece was that?
This is one of the spines.
Oh yeah.
And we're scoring, so we've got 1 inch on either edge, and then we've got 1/2 inch increments because this is going to form our spine, so that's going to help it curve. Okay, right, so back to these pieces that we've already got. Now here I'm going to take this big piece that's got the 2 score lines, 1 on each side, and I'm just going to fold on those and burnish them really well so I've got a good sharp crease. Okay. Cat hairs. Cat hairs and no cats, which is a miracle. Yeah. Now that piece that we've got that we didn't score, what I want to do with this is I want to slip it inside here to form like a double thickness page. But if we slip it in, it's not going to quite fit. It's not going to flick. Don't worry, to be honest with you, lovely, watching it first and then cutting and doing the class later is probably the best way to do it, to be honest with you, because if I make a mistake, which I often do, you're gonna know. So you're gonna know not to do that bit that I've done wrong, if you see what I mean. So this bit, I can't quite fold that over. It doesn't quite fit. So if I start and glue that now, I'm going to get a gaping hole in my page, which isn't ideal. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut that down. So this is the bit that hasn't got any score marks on it. I'm just going to grab my trimmer and I'm just going to cut just over 1/8 of an inch off, and I'm just going to eyeball it. I just literally just whop some off, just a thin piece, and just make sure that it fits in. There, okay, so now if I glue that down, that's going to be flat. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is open that up, grab my glue, which may or may not work today, who knows.
I haven't deboned it.
No, I know, but it was working this morning. Oh, Christmas book's nearly ready. I want to show it to you so bad, but it's going to spoil the surprise, so I'm not going to. So what I want you to do is I just want you to put some glue. I like wet glue because I like things to stay together on the inside of those 2 flaps we've just folded. As you can see, this is a very professional and beautifully spaced and glued stuff. I just bung it on. So we're going to put that second bit now that fits. Make sure that it's centered the bottom. It should be exactly the right length. And we're just going to glue that down on both sides. Oh, hang on, there's a cat. I can hear a cat. So, yeah, Storm's brought us a present. So I'm going to glue that down now. So what I've got is I've got my back cover, and it's made up of 2 thicknesses of card with flaps on the back. When I'm making a book, for me, the flat bit's always the front, and then these bits are the back, if that makes sense. Okay, so that is our back cover made. So put that to one side. Now I want to make the gatefold. So I've got this piece, which is where the 3 score lines intersect, and I've got this piece that hasn't got any score marks on it at all. So excuse me if you've heard all this before, but as we've got some people who haven't made a book with me in the group, I'm going to explain why I do things in a weird way. So what we need to do first, before we start doing any folding, is we need to mitre the corners of this. So you can see where those score lines intersect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors, and has anybody seen my Fiskars ones, by the way, because I can't find them?
No.
Right, I'm going to just snip up to where those 2 score lines intersect. So just like that. Now, most people, when they're mitring, will mitre straight across. I don't do that because I like to do things differently. But the reason I don't do that is because I find that even if I try and do it straight across, when I'm then folding, I still sometimes get a bit of an overlap, and I don't like lumpy corners.
You get a bulge.
I get a bulge. Well, I've got plenty of bulges, but that's not a good bulge.
Nice one to talk about.
That all sounded terrible. Wasn't what I meant. Anyway, moving swiftly on. What we're going to do is we're going to snip up to that where that score line intersects, and then we're going to just move our scissors a little bit so we cut at a bit of an angle. Now, Mel, who is the lady that does all the charms, calls this a kinky mitre. So what we've got here is a kinky mitre. It doesn't show very well on that one, but trust me, there is. It doesn't go straight across. It goes at a bit of a kink. So, yeah, kinky mitring. So snip up to where those score lines intersect, change the angle of your scissors a little, and then snip up there. So you can see that we haven't got a line that goes straight across. We've got a line that is got a bit of a kink in it. You can see, if you haven't done a class with me before, where this is going, because we have big boners, kinky mitres, and we won't even discuss the gussets at this point. So I'm going to fold that over.
Hey?
What?
There's weird stuff going on in Facebook.
Well, mine's all right. Ugh, glue on my hands.
Mitres. I don't know if.
I can see that.
Yeah, but on my phone it says Ellie Walton said it.
Well, she might have done. She did.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, and then you said it
Oh,
after.
well, I said it, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So now I'm going to. Now I'm confused. What am I doing? Burnishing my corners. Okay, so as you can see now, those corners lie down flat because they don't overlap, which is going to give me a much flatter finish. Okay, so now what I want to do is exactly the same with this. I need that to fit in there so that I can glue it down, but it's not going to. It's going to do exactly the same thing. It's slightly too wide. So what I'm going to do is just take off a little bit of one of these edges. Now, I can hear what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, that's going to leave a hole. And you know what? It is. And it doesn't matter because we're going to cover it. So now, let's see. Oh, yeah, that'll fit in. That will just slip in now so that it lines up here exactly. And we can put that over. Now, sometimes that means that on a corner, because it doesn't sit flat next to each other because of that kink that we put in it, sometimes you can see the edge of the cardstock. That's never bothered me because I'm going to cover it up. So don't worry if you've got a little bit of a hole, because you won't see it when we've finished.
Holes and bulges.
So here we go. I'm going to open that up and I'm going to pop some glue on the inside of those flaps. Oh, that was a good noise.
I'm rebooting my computer.
Oh, I see. Okay, so lay down that second bit there. And we're going to lie that down on top. I'm just going to use my boner just to make sure that I've got really good stick. Oh, that's a new one. We haven't used that one before, have we? No. Okay, so what I've got now is I've got the gatefold of my book, and it's enclosed on 3 sides, so it's only open on that one. Okay, so when my book closes, that will be the bit that comes round to the front like that. Okay, so this bit that we've got, this is going to join these 2 bits together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mitre this, and I'm going to just start from the edge of that first score line at 1 inch, and I'm just going to cut it at a bit of an angle. You're never going to see this again, so it doesn't matter what angle. It's simply just to make life a little bit easier for us when we come to slip this into place. So now I'm just going to try it for size. So I'm going to grab my gatefold. The front of my book, this is going to be how it sits. So this is the enclosed bit, and this is the open bit here to the right. Okay, and I'm going to have it so that my front bit is the flat bit, because that's the way I like it. So now I'm going to take my spine. For me, I've chosen to have the mountain side of the the scores on the top, and I'm just going to pop that in there and just make sure that it fits, because sometimes it can be a little bit too long. So I can see that that fits really, really well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some glue, wet glue, and I'm going to put it all the way up to that first score line on both sides. I'm going to slip the edge of this spine up to where that first score line is. So 1 inch of this paper, this card, is going to slip in there. It's going to go up to where the first score line is. It's not going to go over it. It's going to go up to it. And we are now going to stick that down so that our gatefold now doesn't have any open sides. Okay, so that's that bit. Now, because this is the back of my book, I'm gonna, you don't have to do it like this, it's up to you. This is what how I'm doing it. Even though this is essentially going against what I said before, just because it sits right in my head, I'm going to put this flap side up. So here is my gatefold, and I'm just going to pop that in there and make sure that that just fits in. Okay, which it does. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop some wet glue on the other side of that spine, on both sides up to where that first score line is. So that's on the inch bit, and I'm going to slip it into the one of the open ends of that back cover up to the score line, no further, just up to that first score line. And I'm going to stick that down like that, so that one side of that back cover is now enclosed. So this will be this bit of our book that folds over like that. So this is going to be the front of the book, and this is the back. Okay, so it's going to fold over like that. So what we've got here is we've just made this back bit that folds over. Now this is obviously floppy because it's had time to get used to, you know, moving about. This is slightly wider than the one we did here because like I said, it wasn't wide enough. If we want to put a load of photo mats and photos in, it was too tight. I didn't like it. Well, yes, it is kind of similar to the NSD book, I guess. So, Ellie, you're quite right, actually. It's just, yeah, a bit different. Yeah, it's the same but different. So don't worry, over time your book will become more pliable, okay? But that's what we've made, this back bit, okay? So that bit is what we've just made, all right? Okay, are we all happy with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, right, so put that to one side to just kind of stew. And what we're going to do now is I want to make the internal pages. Now, for some reason, best known to myself, I thought it would be a good idea to make the internal pages, or at least to put, when I've written the cutting guide, the front cover and the internal pages I've done separately, so you kind of in your head you've got that differentiation, but the truth is they're exactly the same. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make 4 internal pages. It just so happens that one of the internal pages is the front cover, so whereas I've put them separate, that's just so that you can get it in your head, you know, that one of them actually is going to be the cover. So that's what we're going to cut now. So if we grab our trimmers, we are now going to cut the front cover and 3 internal pages. So I want you to cut 4 at 10 by 7 1/4 inches. Now we will be making this in exactly the same way as we've made these other bits, so we will be probably cutting this down again.
4 was that?
Yeah.
It says 3 in there.
Yeah, I know. Did you ever listen to me?
No, I'm having technical problems.
Oh yeah. That's what you always say. Did you glue both ends of the gatefold on each end? Yes, I did, Elaine. So that now what I've got, my gatefold that goes around like this, this bit's all totally enclosed. The only bit that's open is this bit, which is what we're going to attach to the book. Okay, so these are all totally enclosed now. There's no open ends. That hingey bit, that spiny bit, that's enclosed these 2. Does that make sense? Yeah, I know I said 3. No, but it's 4.
I understand
yeah.
now.
Okay,
Front
right.
cover and
Yeah, they're actually all the same.
yes.
Yeah. So we're going to cut 4 at 10 by 7 1/4 inches. I know, it's because I'm thinking.
Concentration.
I know, it's terrible. No, I haven't put my tongue out tonight.
Oh.
No. I'm not concentrating properly at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've cut 4 at 10 by 7 1/4 inches. Now we have to cut 4 at 10 1/2 by 8 1/4 inches. But remember, if you're in the UK and you're using UK sized A4 paper, this is already 8 1/4 inches, so you don't need to cut on that side. So you're just going to cut it down to 10 1/2 inches basically. I know in America, I think your A4 is a little bigger. I know, Rekha, I've slowed right down. I hope you realise. Although I feel like I'm doing it properly now, instead of rushing. No, I'm not rushing. Oops. Oh, out of paper. Hang on. Grab some. Okay, so we've got 4 at 10 1/2 by 8 1/4. Okay, you can put your trimmers away. So now what you need to do is grab your scoreboards. Now, obviously, we're only going to be scoring on 4 of these because we're going to make this, each of these pages is made exactly like the gatefold bit, so they're enclosed. So unlike with a lot of books that we make, you know, you've got your open bit here that you can stick photo mats in. I haven't done it like that this time. They're all simply going to be plain enclosed pages with you know, a solid end this time, so they're all going to, you know, be exactly like the front cover. This book was supposed to be one that didn't have any fussy cutting. It didn't quite work out like that. Never mind, one day. Right, so we're going to grab the bigger pieces, which were 8 1/4 by 10 1/2, and we are going to start by scoring on the 10 1/2 inch side, and we are going to score a 1/2 inch. Scoot it round 90 degrees, so we're now scoring on the 8 1/4 inch side, and we are going to score at 1/2 inch. And we are going to score at 7 3/4 inch. So what we've got for these bigger pieces is we've got these 3 score lines that intersect in 2 corners. And that is the same on each of these. So with the next one, I'm going to score on the 10 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to score on the 8 1/4 inch side at 1/4 inch, and at 7 3/4 inch.
You got it.
Was that right?
Yep.
That's a miracle.
Well, that's what I've typed anyway.
Well, that's good. I'll do what you say. So once again, 10 1/2 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Scoot it round, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch.
Rinse and repeat.
And 7 3/4 inch. Okay, final one. I'm scoring on the 10 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch. Scoot it round, and I'm going to score on the 8 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch and at 7 3/4 inches. So what I've got are 3 intersecting score lines with around 3 sides of the pages. Okay, so you can put your scoreboard away for now.
Throw it to one side.
We are getting there. We're doing good. We're doing really good. So, bit more kinky mitering for Mel. We are going to make each of these pages is made in exactly the same way. So we're just going to do them all. We'll do them in bulk. So snip up to that corner where the score lines intersect. Shift the angle of your scissors and just miter that corner. Okay. So up to where the score lines intersect.
Choppy, choppy. Snippy, snippy.
And just chop that off. Sorry, I'm thinking about David's shoes. I'm totally and utterly distracted.
What?
David's shoes.
David?
When we were talking about Jimmy Choos. Didn't he do some really cool sneakers?
I have no idea.
I think he did. I was just thinking for those people like me that can't wear heels. You know, because old and clumsy. I thought he did these really cool sneakers. Sorry, totally distracted there. I'm really sorry. Right, okay, so we've kinky mitered all of those corners. I know, never mind. And I'm going to fold those over now. So I'm going to have my 3 flaps. No, and then I was thinking about, you know, Louboutins and the red soles and how cool they are and how I'll never, ever, ever have a pair.
Got some red paint.
I don't know. Can you put them on the back of trainers, on the bottom of trainers? I suppose you could.
Slippers.
Oh, slippers. Oh, yeah, that'd be ace. Mind you, in America, don't you call shoes with heels, don't you call them pumps? Because over here in England, pumps are like what kids wear to PE classes, to gym classes at school. So they're like flat and really not very stylish at all. I quite like them. Oh, sorry, just knocked you. My bad. You got new slippers. Oh, yes, I believe her husband bought them for her.
Oh.
New slippers.
Oh, yeah.
Shall I tell you a story, everybody? Shall I tell you why I'm not speaking to my husband?
You are.
Well, yeah, I know I am.
Okay,
I know I am. But, you know, shall I tell them what you did?
yeah.
He ate my straws.
Accidentally.
It wasn't accidental at all.
It was.
It wasn't accidental. And I wouldn't have minded, but we were in the car talking about them. And I said how much I was looking forward to eating them. And he never said a word. So my lovely sister bought me a present.
Yeah.
It's already covered in ink.
He didn't buy the slippers, he got us some boots.
Oh, so did you buy the slippers, Mel?
The pumps are closed in heels.
Closed in heels. Oh, so you mean like what would we call them?
Slopey platformy things.
Nah. I don't know. I'm not very good at shoes. I don't court shoes, but higher. I'll tell you what, Mel would know. Mel, what do you call high court shoes? Heels are higher and spiked. Yes, that's what Mel wears. Yes, Tracy, obviously we are sisters by another mister, because that's exactly how I live my life. When I'm home, I don't wear anything on my feet, and then I walk into stuff still, and it hurts, and I cry. And to be fair to Mark, he is lovely when I do that. Mules. No, mules are those fluffy slippers, aren't they?
Four-legged animals.
No, not that sort of mule. Yeah, stilettos. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think Ruth's got it. Yeah, killer heels. Yeah, Mel's the killer heel girl round here. Me, I just like flip-flops.
You wear a smile.
I wear a smile, yes, that's about it. Do you know, Anne, that's exactly what I said, divorce material. Mules are open in the back. Oh, this is too complicated.
I just wear shoes.
I wear trainers
Shoes are.
and sandals, not with socks.
Dee wears Crocs because she's old.
Actually, do you know what? I'd really like some Crocs. Is that bad? I think they look really comfy.
You need to put them on your list for Santa.
Oh, why do you think Santa will bring me some as an apology for eating all my straws?
Probably not.
No. Do you know, I don't hold a grudge, and I don't bring up stuff in arguments, do I? From forever ago. Mainly because we don't argue, actually, if truth be told, do we? But I don't, do I?
What?
I'm talking to you. Oh.
It's all right, I was reading or cognitively.
No, I'm just saying that if we argue, which is extremely rare, I don't bring up stuff that happened ages ago, do I?
Argued, yeah.
Once. Twice.
When was that?
I don't know. I know one of them was an accident.
Did you win?
Of course I've won.
Okay, that's all right.
Anyway, the straws will be brought up forever. Right, so we've now got our 4 pages, and what we're going to do is we are going to add these bits in, but I will guarantee that they will be too big and we will have to cut them all down. So let's have a look. Yeah, I'm just going to cut them down. I'm just going to assume.
Car to bar, Sue says.
Car to bar. I presume we're still talking about shoes. Are we still talking about shoes, Sue? Oh, you can get Crocs with fleece in. Fleece in your shoes. Oh.
Winter Crocs.
I like that. That's got to be good.
Yeah.
Anyway, David's gone suspiciously quiet, and considering he started this.
Probably concentrating. Ruth wears boots.
Right, that fits. Yes, I wear a lot of boots.
More posh ones.
I have. The only if you ever meet me, you'll realise that taking a pride in my appearance is not something that comes natural. I'm not big on killer heels and lippy, even though I am wearing some today. It's not really my strong point, but I have a pair of leather boots that I had made bespoke, and it is the one thing in my wardrobe that cost money. And oh my goodness, do I love them. Yeah, they're flat, by the way. They're not.
That's not true. You always look lovely.
Oh, bless you. And you know that's not true.
I agree.
You see me at my
agree with
work.
that.
What, you agree that I don't always look lovely?
I agree with Mel.
Oh, look, I don't care. You ate my straws.
Shut up. I'll eat them again.
Oh, no. Would you like one?
No.
You can have one.
No.
Because you're lovely.
No.
Oh,
All yours, dear.
thanks.
So,
That's the way it should be. Right. Okay, that one fits. Last one. If you're new to this, we don't usually talk this amount of rubbish, to be truthful. Do we? Don't be put off by the amount of rubbish that we're spouting today. We're normally all about the books, but today we're all about the boots.
these boots were made for walking.
And straws. You know what? Whenever I cut these bits off, I think there's got to be something that we can make with these. Wouldn't they be great? We could put it on a cover for something. It's just like, I don't know, I just like the way it curls. I have to think about that. Right. Yep, that fits. Okay, so I'm going to glue this in exactly the same way as I glued the others. Now, Anne, actually, now that sounds like a good idea. A pair of heels to wear in your wheelchair.
I suppose that's enough.
Witches' brooms. What are we still talking about shoes? I just like boots. A tassel. Have I missed something?
No, witches' brooms, the offcuts.
Oh, yes, yes. Tassel. I'm with you now. Sorry, I was miles. I was still thinking about shoes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. We should do another Halloween book. Oh, this is the Halloween book. What am I talking about? Of course it's the Halloween book. The Green Witch. Yeah. We could weave them. That's a good idea, actually. Just every time I cut them off and they're just so curly and cute, and I just think, oh, we could do something with this.
Oh no, how often Sue wears a Carter bar heels?
Yes, that's a good question, Sue. How often do you wear your Carter bar shoes? Right, so I'm just going to add that in there. Make sure that's stuck down. Fold that over. Oh, put it in the wrong place. There we go. Right, I'm really taking it slow tonight. Is this better for people? Okay, so our internal pages for this book look like this. They are flat on one side, they've got the flaps on the other, and they are open at one end. Okay, and they are all exactly the same.
Page is good.
Good. Thank you, Karen. Much appreciated.
I'll give her a thumbs up for that.
Well, Sue's laughing now. I want to see these shoes. Do you know, now I've got Killer Queen going round in my head since Mel said Killer Heels. I'm singing it in my head. You don't want me to sing, it'll start raining. Oh, I shouldn't put that in last. Oh. Right, do as I say, don't do as I do. I don't know what I've done there.
She's keeping up as long as she doesn't heckle too much.
Oh, heckling's the best bit. I'm very worried we've lost David. Yeah, you and me both, Sue. I'll tell you, it's a pity we haven't got Maggie tonight. Unless she's here and being very quiet. Because that woman can rock heels. Oh, chill. Oh, you know, Mark used to. I'm not sure about the 3-inch heels, but he did used to do ballroom dancing.
I did?
Yeah. Did you wear 3-inch heels?
No.
Oh.
I did have dancing shoes.
Oh.
They're basically...
Were they gold?
They're very thin on the bottom.
Oh, why?
I don't know.
I want to learn to tap dance. I won a tap dancing competition once, years and years and years ago. Hey?
My favourite was a tango.
The tango?
Yeah.
Oh. Why? I'm not going to ask, actually. I don't think I want to know.
I won't tell her.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's...
No, not telling.
Oh.
Okay. Or a straw bar.
You can have a
I
straw.
don't want a straw bar.
Oh, fine. Well, don't have one then. Yeah, I only do flats. When we got married, I had the most beautiful, well, I still got them, the most beautiful pair of heels. They were sparkly, and I mean seriously sparkly. And I took them off and carried them, didn't I? Yeah. I don't do heels. It was just wishful thinking, really. Right, I'm on my last one. How are you doing? I like Orange Tango. Is that not the same thing?
No.
Do you know, Ruth, I've never watched it, Strictly. Isn't that awful? Well, we're not big TV watchers, are we?
No, we don't watch TV.
No.
Very rarely.
But I feel like I've always missed out with Strictly because obviously, you know, people watch it and lots of conversations and stuff and I haven't got a clue. Oh, yeah, okay, Mel. Let's not talk about that. It's obviously a thing I do. Actually, I don't have heels, but I'll tell you what I do wear. I have some wedges. Not potato wedges.
I think we might.
You know, like espadrille wedges. I love those. I can wear those.
Yes, I have seen.
I do like that. I should have worn them today, shouldn't I? Right, okay. So that is all of my internal pages done.
Have you seen her shoes?
Have I seen... No. I've seen your new hat, though.
Yes, that's splendid.
Yes, it is most splendid. Ruth, you'll see Mel's new hat. So she tells me she's not taking it off. Right, okay, so these are going to form the pages of our book and the front cover. So that's going to fold around like that. But what we need to do is make the bit that's going to attach on this side. So what we're going to do now is we are going to cut the second spine and the hinges. Okay, now the reason that we're doing, thank you Mel, the reason that we're doing it back to front is because it's the easiest way to get these hinges and the spine in, which is just, you know, it's just easier. So last time we got our trimmer out tonight, and what I want you to do is I want you to cut, we'll cut the spine first. I had a piece of paper left over. Where is it? We're going to cut our second spine, which was 5 by 7¼ inches. And the hinges we're going to cut, and I warn you now, if you're new to this, this is probably where I've gone completely wrong, because I always do this bit wrong. I did make some up today though, just to make sure that it was right, because I changed the size. But we're going to cut our hinges at 7¼ by 6½ inches.
Oh, there's lots of typing on this one.
Yeah, and it is. Right, so if you we'll score the hinges last, because they look horrendous, the numbers, but it was because, I can show you why, it was because I tried doing it in my original book. It had a 1/4 inch gusset and it wasn't enough, so I then tried and made it with a 1/2 inch gusset, and that was too much. So well, I went for 3/8. Yeah. How did you know?
It's halfway between.
Oh, okay. Right, so this spine bit, we've already done one of these, so we're going to do the second one. So we're going to score on the 5 inch side. I haven't cut that at 5 inches. It's nothing like 5 inches.
Where you got 5 inches from?
This isn't the right, that's because it's not the right piece.
No.
Right, this piece. Right, this is the spine that is 5 by 7¼ inches. So we're going to score on the 5 inch side, and we're going to score just like on the last one at 1 inch, and then we're going to score at 1/2 inch increments up until we get to 4 inches. So we're going to score at 1 inch, 1½ inches, 2 inches, 2½ inches, 3 inches, 3½ inches, and 4 inches. Okay, now we're going to score on our, these are the hinges, so we are going to score on the 6½ inch side. So I'm going to have to think about this because it's complicated. So we are going to score at 1 inch. Then we are going to score at 1 3/8 of an inch. That 3/8 of an inch is going to be our gusset. Okay. Now we're going to score the hinges. So we're going to score at 1 7/8 of an inch. And we are going to score at 2 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so what we've got is we've got our attachment here, which is 1 inch. We've got a gusset of 3/8 of an inch. And then we have got our hinge, our first hinge, each of which is at 1/2 inch. Night, Wendy, lovely. Much love.
Boy, Wendy.
So now what we need to do is score our second gusset, which is going to be at 3/8 of an inch. So we are going to score at 2 3/4 of an inch. Does that sound right? Yeah. 2 3/4 of an inch. Okay?
Is your gusset 1/4 inch?
No, it's 3/8 of an inch.
Okay.
That's right, isn't it?
No.
It is. And now we're going to score the next set of hinges. So we're going to score at 3 1/4 and 3 3/4 of an inch. Okay, now we're going to score a 3/8 of an inch gusset. I wish Hannah was here. We're going to score at 4 1/8 of an inch. Please tell me I've written that down. Yep, because I'm just guessing this as I'm going. 4 1/8 of an inch and 4 5/8 of an inch, which is the first part of the next hinge. 5 1/8 of an inch, and then our final gusset of 3/8 of an inch, which will leave us on 5 1/2 inches. Now, if you've made hidden hinge before, you'll recognise straight away that this is downright weird, because we start with a hinge here, don't we? So we've got our wing, and then we start with a hinge, but we're not. We're starting with a gusset, and I'll show you why. Because yes, exactly. So here, if you can see this, this is our front cover. This is the hinge. And the first thing is, where our front cover attaches here, it goes straight into a gusset. And then our next page, and then a gusset, our next page, gusset, next page, gusset onto the back cover. So, unlike normal hidden hinge, where you would go straight into a hinge, we're going straight into a gusset. Okay, that's how we get our spine to float, right? Okay, I'm probably making this sound far more complicated than it is. So here, what we've got is and I'm going to call this a wing because I never know what else to call it, but we've got our wings at either side, okay? Then we've got a gusset, our hinge, a gusset, hinge, gusset, hinge, gusset. So we've got to make 3 hinges to attach those 3 middle pages of our book, okay? So what we're going to do first is we are going to take our paper and we're going to fold upwards on that first score line, okay? So it's going to look like that. So when we attach our page to it, the page is going to go in there. So the page will be here and that'll go straight into the gusset. But for our next page, we need a hinge. So whereas the gusset will be flat, our hinge needs to fold back on itself. Hold on. So we're going to stick these 2 bits together, those 2 1/2-inch ones. So it's going to be like that, okay? So we've got our wing, gusset, 1/2-inch hinge. So the next bit is going to be the gusset. So what we're going to do now is we're going to leave the gusset flat and we're going to fold up that next bit. So our gusset's flat to there.
This will stop everyone typing.
I know, which always makes me nervous. So now we've got, this is where it attaches to our front cover. Gusset, page 1, hinge, gusset, page 2, hinge. We're going to have a gusset again, and our final hinge. Oh, let's try and fold the right bit. So what I've got here, let me fold that up. When we come to glue it together, we're going to have our hinge, which is where our front cover attaches, gusset page 1, gusset page 2, gusset page 3, back cover, 5 pages. Got confused there. Okay, so does that make sense? Is everybody happy with that now? Does that, are we cool with how that folds? There's Cat.
Martha.
Oh, it's Martha. Hello, Martha. What's she doing?
Trying to get into a box.
Okay. Right. We're all right. So what we've done is where we've got our hinges, we've folded them together. Okay. Now we need to glue them together. So the way that I glue my hinges together is I'm going to open that out a bit, and I'm going to grab a little bit of double-sided tape, which I had earlier, and now I haven't got a flipping clue where it is.
Martha's probably it.
No, it's probably... Oh, I've got some more here. Because I like to use a little bit of tape just to hold my hinges together while they glue. So I'm going to put a little bit of tape on the hinge. What are you doing?
Yes, Martha, what are you doing?
No, what
Get
are
out
you
that
doing?
bag.
What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm just
You
seeing
eating
if
my
any-
straws?
I was just seeing if any had fell in.
What, straws? No, they're up there. You can have one. I'll allow it. There's not many left, to be honest.
I'll suck ones.
Yeah. Right, so I'm going to put some wet glue on that hinge. Just on one side. So if you're wondering, you've got your wing, your gusset, wet glue on the hinge, and I'm going to fold that hinge down so that it sticks together. Ugh, glue. Hate it. Okay. And take that little bit of tape off that hinge there. I'm going to do exactly the same. Put some glue on the inside of that hinge. And I'm going to glue that like that. And then the final hinge. Let's put some wet glue on there. Okay, so now I'm going to get my bone folder and I'm going to burnish this. I'm going to burnish the heck out of it.
Big old boner.
With my boner. And just make sure that it is burnished really, really well. And I'm going to burnish the hinges both ways because we want them to work and open smoothly. Okay. Let's get rid of the bits of glue on the end. So what I've got now are my hinges made. Okay. So now they stick together. So I've got my 3 hinges and I've got a gusset on either side. And then I've got these 2 wings which act as hinges as well.
Aren't they flaps?
No, they're wings. Okay. These are what we, if we were making a book, these would be what attach our
cover.
Yeah, to the cover. Okay, but we're doing it differently. Right. Okay, so you can see you've got your wing, gusset, hinge, gusset, and so on and so forth. Now, keep burnishing it to within an inch of its life because this is what's going to help the book move smoothly. I love hinges. Look how pretty they are on the back. So lovely. Makes me so happy. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, what have you done?
Excuse me. Nothing. I'm allergic to straws.
Yeah, I'm sure you're allergic to straws. You have to just keep checking until you'd eaten the whole packet. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, don't look in your box. That's all I'll say.
What? There's 4 left.
And yet 2.
Yeah. Okay, so that is our hinges made. All right. And so we don't lose our spine.
Candy floss grapes.
Yeah, what are candy floss grapes? I've never heard of those.
No, I'm going to search.
No, he's gone to look now. What we're going to do now is we are going to attach one side of our hinges to one side of our spine. Okay, so they're
just grapes.
Oh, but this tastes like candy floss, I presume.
Yeah, cotton candy.
Yeah. So what we've got here is we're going to attach this inch wing to this inch bit of our spine here, okay? So I've got my spine. This is the bit, this is like the mountain side of the score. And I'm going to just put some glue on the inside of the spine, just up to where that score line is, that very first score line, okay? And I'm going to attach my hinge on top like that. Just that very, very, very first bit, okay? Line it up perfectly. And it will attach just to that first gusset, okay?
Is that the bracket kind of bit of it?
Yeah.
So the hinge and bracket.
Yeah, the hinge and the bracket. Yeah, very clever. Yeah. Yeah, very clever. Yes. Okay, so, we do our shopping in Asda. I'll add it to the list.
Yep,
yeah, we'll try those. We like grapes.
We do.
Not as much as straws, but we do like them. So there we go. That's all I want to do tonight.
They are grapes.
We've only attached this so we don't lose stuff. And that's it. So what we've done is we've got the back of our book made with the bit that folds round. We've got all of our internal pages made, and we've got the hinge system for this end, okay? So you can put that to one side until next Wednesday, because I'm not going to give you any homework tonight. That's it. And then next week what we'll do is we'll start decorating up. So, are we all right? Do we need any questions answered? Don't ask me about shoes because I don't know anything.
That's my question ruined.
Sorry. Are we happy? Ish.
Now I've had a straw, yes.
God. Right, okay, you're quiet, which is good. So, thanks ever so much for joining us tonight. That will certainly do for now. We will see you next Wednesday at 7:30 here in the group. But in the meantime, you might find sometime between now and then I show you the Christmas
Maybe.
book. The last bit as what I've done with my hinges. What I've done, Michelle, is I've got the end of my hinge. Do you remember the hinges? These wings. I've attached one. I've glued it to my spine. Okay? So the spine, we got an inch here before we started scoring, and we got an inch here before the gusset, and we've simply glued those together. Okay? You're not having a sneak peek, Jill. You'll have to wait. The only thing that I will, all right, you can have a sneak peek. You can have it. There's a page. Oh! It's got no openings. How will that work, Mark? It's weird, isn't it? No, that's all you're getting. So hopefully, I will have that to show you over the weekend. All right, is that? Are you cool with that, Michelle? Now, does that make sense now? You can't do it upside down. You just turn it round. Teresa, that's good. Yeah, Michelle, just turn it the other way up. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Because at the moment it's that way, but actually we're going to attach it that way.
Not like this.
So it's not upside down. You're just going to turn it. Right. If the hinges face... Yes, the hinges should... Oh, I see. You've done it that... Yeah, no, the hinges need to face out. That's a good point. Yes, it's graphic 45 Christmas time, Ruth. Shall I show them a page? No. All right then. Okay, I won't. Brilliant. All right then. So that's it for now. If you get stuck, just message me or ask in the group. I'm usually knocking about.
Yeah, and part 2 of shoe talk will be next Wednesday.
No, I think we've exhausted shoes. We need to find something else to talk about.
No, in meaning.
Oh God, that's so sexist.
I know.
Right. See you guys next week. Bye.
Oh.